who wants to make this precious X's and O's quilt with me? Come on, let's go. First thing I did was I looked into my stash and I had a handful of this black floral fabric, a few different pieces of it. And it's from a layer cake from a few years ago. I pulled the blacks out, was using the others for something else, and I happen to have these. And then these 5-inch squares are from my Valentine set that I used to make the sweatshirt. These are the leftover pieces of that. Okay, so they all started out as 10 by 10 inch squares. I cut the 10 by 10 red squares into 5-inch squares. I have 4 10-inch squares and I have 8 5-inch squares because I know I need 2 5-inch squares for each 10-inch square. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 5-inch squares. We're going to turn our 5-inch squares over and we're going to take our ruler, put it from corner to corner, and we're going to draw a line on all of our squares. Now y'all know I am the Sharpie queen, but I am worried this is going to show up through my quilt. So I'm using this disappearing ink. One end is air and water soluble, the other is water soluble. So one of them washes out and one of them comes out in the air. What is this? So I guess if you leave it on there a long time, it will just disappear. I don't know. I don't use these a whole lot because they're expensive. So I only use them when I need them. I use a pen, a Sharpie, something else most of the time. But we're marking all of the back of our blocks from corner to corner, just from one corner to the other corner. I always feel like a spy, you know, in the 6th grade when you got that little disappearing ink notebook and you could write letters to your friends and then they could use a little light to decode it. That's what I feel like. Maybe I should use this more often. Be very entertaining to myself. After we've gotten all of our lines drawn from corner to corner, then we're going to take our quilt blocks and we're going to choose which ones go with which block. Now, I have 4 blocks. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. I cannot wait for y'all to see it. Maybe I should put the lid on here, huh? 4 blocks and 8 pieces. I need 2 5-inch squares per 10-inch block. And the only thing I'm doing is I don't really want to put this plaid next to this kind of grid fabric. I'd like for them to be a little bit different. And I really wouldn't want this flower on top of that flower. Okay, so now we have them. The next thing we're going to do is take some clips or pins if you want to, whatever you want to use. And we're going to lay our block in the corner of each 10-inch square. So you see how we have one here and one here? Now the key is you drew your diagonal on the back of it. You probably can't see any of mine because they're with disappearing ink. We're going to do one with a Sharpie just so y'all can see. And if it shows up through it, sorry. You see our diagonal lines? Okay. I don't know if you can see that one, but I know you can see this one. Now, this diagonal line, when I put it on my block, does not need to come to the corner. We're going to sew from here to here. We are not sewing in the corner, so make sure your diagonal goes from here to here, or wherever it is up here. From here to here, okay? Don't turn your diagonal when you put it on your block like this, because then you'll be tearing it out, and it's not fun, so don't do that. Put it just like this, okay? And then you're gonna clip that, and you're gonna come to the diagonal corner, and you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna put your block, but you don't want the line going into the corner. You want your line going from here to here. We're not sewing from here to here, okay? Don't do that. Make sure your line goes from here to here. And what you need to remember is I'm not sewing to a corner because you're not sewing to the corner of your big block. You're gonna do that. And then you're gonna clip it, and then you're gonna do the same thing to the other 3 blocks with whatever your squares are that you've chosen to be your 2. Make sure that your diagonal does not touch the corner of your piece of fabric. Pretty side to pretty side. And you can do these one at a time if you want to. I'm just doing them all at one time because I'm excited and I want to show y'all. But obviously, it's your quilt. Nobody's the boss of you. You do what you want to do. This would be precious as a pillow. This would be precious as a, the front of a tote bag. Oh my goodness, y'all, it's so cute. I'm so stinking excited. All right. There's 3, and now we have 1 more to do. So I don't have big plans for Valentine's Day. Lots of people do, but I just really don't. I do want to do something sweet for my little ladies though, but I'm not sure what. And they're 3, so everything's exciting to them, like every single thing. And then I get excited. But then I get kind of excited about everything too. So we're going to sew a straight stitch down the line that we drew, okay? From one end to the other. We're going to back stitch when we start and when we stop on both pieces on each 10-inch square. So we're going to do these 2, these 2, these 2, and these 2. All right, and then, oh my goodness, we're gonna iron it and I'm gonna show y'all what to do. I'm just sewing this with a straight stitch, back stitching when I start and when I stop, because y'all, my grandma terrified me that if I didn't, my stuff would fall apart. I see lots of people who sew without back stitching, and maybe it works for them, but over here, I'm always gonna tell you to back stitch. We're just sewing directly on the line that we drew. This is a super easy pattern, something you can make when you pull your sewing machine out of the box for the very first time. If y'all have Valentine traditions, I need you to drop them in the comments, because I don't have any, and I would love to start some this year. Okay, so we have sewn our seams from here to here on all of our pieces. Now we're going to take our clips off, our pins out, whatever you have, and we are going to cut the corner off. Just cut the excess off like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can cut it with a rotary cutter or scissors. Just be sure not to clip your seams. You're going to do all of your blocks the same way. We've sewn them, we've trimmed them. Now I trimmed mine, you can see, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, doesn't really matter, cut it off. I just want to make sure I don't get too close to my stitches because I am not trying to cut them by accident. Now I'm going to take mine to the ironing board and iron them. You take yours to the ironing board and I'll be right back. I'm back. I've ironed mine, you've ironed yours. Now let's see what we have. We have 4 blocks that look like this, right? So if we take them and we place 1 block here and we turn our block and place 1 here and 1 here and 1 here, what do we have? Oh my goodness. We have the cutest X. Now, if we just turn our blocks, we're just gonna turn it and turn it, what do we have? We have an O. Now let's go see a few of them together. Oh my goodness, how cute. So when my student takes it home, she's going to make 6 X's and 6 O's. And she's gonna say X, O, X. And then the next row will be O, X, O, X, O, X, O, X, O. I can't wait to show it to y'all when it comes back to me. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.